Today, live from the beautiful campus of Swarthmore College in Delaware County, Tri-State Media Sports is proud to present interactive college football. Today, the Garnet Tide of Swarthmore hosts the Diplomats of Franklin and Marshall. You can be part of the action next.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clothier Field, the site of today's Halloween battle between two teams on separate quests. Hi everybody, I'm Bill Commiseroff along with Greg Milligan and Bill Marshall. We are located on the campus of Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania on a beautiful fall Pennsylvania afternoon. Thanks for joining us for today's ECAC Game of the Week. It's a Division III Centennial Conference matchup between the Garnet Tide of Swarthmore and the F&M Diplomats. As I said, two teams on separate quests. The quest for F&M is to stay alive in the postseason picture. They lost their first conference game last week. They're now 3-1 in Centennial play. The loss last week to Western Maryland College. Western Maryland is undefeated, as is Johns Hopkins in conference play. F&M has to play Hopkins next week, so they can't afford to let down today in anticipation of next week's game. They have to come here today to play and be sure that they go away with a conference victory. The quest on the other side of the field is very simple for Swarthmore: pride. They are in the midst of a 25-game losing streak that dates back to the last game of the 1995 season, and this team wants very desperately to be able to notch a victory in the belt of first-time head coach Pete Alvanos. Greg Milligan and Bill Marshall, first of all, welcome. Happy Halloween. Greg, the question is today the day for Swarthmore?
Bill, on any given Saturday, any team can beat any other, and this could be one of those days where an upset takes place. You have to go all the way back to November of 1995 to find the last time that a Swarthmore football team had a victory, a streak of 25 games, as you mentioned. But hey, this could be the day. We've got a beautiful day. Swarthmore's at home. They always play F&M tough here at Clothier Field, so who knows? Let's find out how this game's going to go today. We welcome you to our broadcast. We encourage you to give us a phone call. Our phone number is 1-800-766-2420. If you were with us in the beginning of the season, you remember this man, Mr. Bill Marshall. He's the president of the ECAC and the former athletic director of Franklin and Marshall. And Bill, you've been here many times for these games over the years, and you told me that Swarthmore always plays Franklin and Marshall tough. We could have another good football game this afternoon.
Oh yes, this is always a place that our coaches don't like to come to because for some reason Swarthmore just seems to step up their game when they're on their home field. So we look for an awfully good ball game today.
Now, Peter Alvanos, in his first year as the head coach of Swarthmore, is yet to find a win as the head man here for the Garnet Tide. On the other hand, Tom Gilberg, in our first broadcast of the season, got his 150th win, and you know Coach Gilberg very well. He is a veteran coach and well-respected throughout the coaching fraternity.
That's what makes this interesting, or this matchup very interesting, because we have a head coach from Swarthmore who has not tasted victory yet, and we've got one that's been there 152 times. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup of the old KG veteran versus the new man on the block. And one's trying to prove themselves and the other's trying to maintain his place. So this could be a very interesting matchup.
One matchup that we're going to keep an eye on the field today is the Swarthmore receiving corps, which is a pair of seniors, Brian Bell and Mason Tutel, against the two F&M defensive backs, Dan Warshall and Jason Dobry. Swarthmore, while they struggle offensively, their two main weapons are Tutel and Bell. They're guys to watch today for F&M.
Yes, if you look at the stats, both Swarthmore and F&M have had a very difficult time moving the ball on the ground. So both teams are probably going to put the ball in the air quite often. Tutel is just a superior athlete. He runs back punts, he runs back kickoffs, he's a receiver, he punts the ball. He just does it all for Swarthmore. And Bell is a senior. He's a senior leader. He's been one of their leaders in receiving this year. On the other side of the coin, Dan Warchel is a four-year starter, a senior, carrying a 4.0 average. And Jason Dobry is a junior. Both have started for 7 years. They lead the F&M defensive secondary. Between the two of them, they've accounted for almost 80 tackles this year. So in addition to being good cover people, they come up quickly to stop the run. So it should be a good matchup.
Two quick notes before we go back upstairs to Bill Komisaroff. Only the seniors on the Swarthmore team have tasted victory in college football, as all the underclassmen for Swarthmore yet to win. And an injury note for Franklin and Marshall. A couple weeks ago, starting quarterback Mike Higgins went down with a knee injury. Jim Meehan, his backup, suffered a concussion, so he will not play today. So Jamie Ottaviano, the third-string quarterback, gets the start today for Franklin and Marshall. Or, yes, for Franklin and Marshall. Let's go back upstairs to Bill Komisaroff.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. We appreciate it. Don't forget, what? It's Halloween, right? Everyone has to wear their masks. That's what I was told. It was in the memo. Don't forget, this is an interactive broadcast. We invite your participation. Our telephone number is 1-800-766-2420 if you want to jump on the lines with a question or a comment. If you'd rather do it over the Internet, you can do that. You can reach us. The address is sports@tristatemedia.net. Still plenty to come here on the pregame show of the ECAC Game of the Week. We've got the Tri-State matchups coming up. We'll take a look at what's going on around the region in college football today. Also, we've got an interview with Tom Blackburn, who is the academic advisor for the Swarthmore football team. But up next, our very popular Armchair Quarterback segment.
More than 140,000 Americans have joined Peace Corps. Returning home, their experiences last a lifetime. Meet Sandra Hood, a substance abuse counselor, and Jean Lee, a community services director.
My Peace Corps experience has been invaluable because part of it is about just getting in there and doing it.
I had my college education, my volunteer experience, and then Peace Corps was just another added star.
Overall, my Peace Corps experience has enriched my life in ways that are very hard to define.
Peace Corps service prepares me for what I'm doing now because it taught me how to think quickly on my feet.
It's pretty much what you make of it. There are many, many opportunities in the Peace Corps.
I strongly encourage everyone to join the Peace Corps.
Peace Corps volunteers, changing America and changing the world. See how you can make a difference. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
It's time for hard-hitting, live, interactive college football on the Tri-State Media Network. Every Saturday afternoon, you can connect with your favorite local college team. And hey, Armchair Quarterback, you can call in or email live and be a part of the game day coverage. Enter a contest to be the second color analyst live on the phone. Call area code 610-466-1593 for more information. Check your local listings for times and channels. Live, interactive college football only on the Tri-State Media Network.
I'll never forget the first time my grandmother took me to the Fulton. It was exciting. But like everything else over the years, it just lost a lot of its splendor. So I thought that was the end of it. But then the whole community pitched in and made it shine again. Just look at her now. Tonight I'm taking my grandkids.
All right, welcome back to the ECAC Game of the Week. Bill Komisaroff hanging out in the stands, doing a little tailgating before today's game between Swarthmore and F&M. It's a perfect day for football here in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. We want to remind you again that this is an interactive broadcast, which means we need you to participate in this game. If you have a question or a comment anytime during the pregame show or actually during the game itself, you can reach us via the telephone at 1-800-766-2420. Or if you have a question or comment and you want to do it on the Internet, you can do that as well. The addresses you see on your screen, sports@tristatemedia.net. One of the things we like to do each and every Saturday is enlist the help of some of the fans. We call it our Armchair Quarterback segment. And guys, we're going to have to squeeze together. We're three big men here in the stands today. We'd like to welcome Steve Klotz and Charlie Shambaugh. Steve here is from Swarthmore. Charlie's from F&M. They both have kids who play on these teams, so they're going to be very knowledgeable about these two teams. First of all, let's talk to Charlie. Charlie, how's things going here for F&M? You guys lost your first conference game last week. What's the mood of the team?
I think it's down a little bit after last week's loss to Western Maryland. It was a tough loss. It was a big game for us. We had a couple of breakdowns on the defense, and we had lost our starting quarterback the previous week, and the kid that started the second game against Western Maryland was knocked out too, so we went to another quarterback. So I'm not sure what the quarterback situation is today. We have three kids. All of them can play, and we'll see what happens.
Now, you are especially in tune to the defense because your son Greg is a linebacker. He's having a great season, isn't he?
Yes, he is so far. Thank you very much. He's inside. He's one of the captains, and he has been having a very good year, along with the whole defense. Really has been playing exceptionally well, and just hoping to put a couple more together here and still keep a chance alive for the conference.
All right, Steve, your son Josh plays on the team. What position does Josh play?
He plays cornerback.
Starter?
Yes, he is.
And obviously, things have been going not exactly Swarthmore's way recently. The 25-game losing streak. But this is a pretty young team. Are they optimistic?
I don't know if they could say they're optimistic. They're hopeful. They keep improving week by week, trying to do better, and they have been. They've been more competitive this year than they have last year, and they keep looking ahead to getting a larger team and doing more and more in the conference.
Now, how is the team? It's tough when you're 0-5 to say you've done better than last year, but they've been in more games this year than they were last year, and it seems like the team has a lot of heart this year.
That's right. They haven't given up. Last year, you could see some times where partway through the game, their heads would be drooping, and the spirit just wouldn't be there. This year, they keep going at it. They keep working. They keep themselves up. They keep encouraging each other and trying to play the whole game through, which they've done.
All right, Charlie, you're going to be the F&M head coach here for a second. You're in the locker room. What are you saying to this team? You obviously can't look past this Swarthmore team the next week to Johns Hopkins. You got to keep them focused for today, right?
Yeah, you never want to play a team that's on a 25-game losing streak because you don't want to be the one to end that. I think what you've got to do is tell the kids, listen, we got to be positive. We had 4 breakdowns last week. Otherwise, we'd have been and won that ball game. You got to play the full game. You got to play every play like it's the only play that's going to matter in a game, and you got to win this and to set yourself up for the next one.
How have the kids responded to Pete Alvanis in his first year, and what is he saying to this team right now, 15 minutes before kickoff?
Well, they've responded to him very well. They have a lot of respect for him. They enjoy him a great deal. They respect his ability and also his encouragement and spirit that he brings to the team. He brings a lot of encouragement. He has a long-term outlook here. He's bringing in, each year, we're bringing in more players, new students, new talent, and they're glad for that. It's a good freshman class this year. What he's saying to them is just to put everything into it this game, reminding them of some of the skills that they need to use, bring to bear, some of their strategies, and reminding them to stay focused on the game play by play.
How about in this game today specifically, what are some of the things that they're hoping to accomplish?
I'd say this game they'd be looking to do some more on offense. Offense has been a struggling point now for some time. They'll have some good series, and then they'll lose the ball or have to punt. They're going to focus, I think, on really getting the offense going in a consistent manner with their blocking and with their execution.
How about over on the F&M side?
I think one of the keys to this ball game is we've got to reestablish our running game. The last 2 weeks, our running game has been non-existent. We've been -5 yards and -7 yards, and you can't win many ball games when you can't run the ball. And I think that's got to be a primary goal for this team.
All right, Charlie and Steve, thank you very much. Can we ask you guys to come back at halftime to give your analysis of the first half? All right, thank you very much, Charlie and Steve, our armchair quarterbacks. We've got plenty more to do here on the pregame show. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the tri-state matchups around the region here in college football. You're watching the ECAC Game of the Week, and we'll be back right after this.
It's not a national emergency. It's a neighborhood fire. Yet for the families who lost their homes, it's a major disaster.
What does the Red Cross do in a situation like this?
We're here to help the families. We give them food and blankets, and we provide shelter.
I was with the families last night, and thank goodness they didn't lose their lives. But in so many ways, they did. When people think of the Red Cross, they think of hurricanes and blood drives, but there's so much more.
The Red Cross is always involved in the community. It's neighbor helping neighbor.
Who pays for all of this to happen?
We help people, people help us.
First to respond with care and relief. Count on the Red Cross to be there for your family. But we're not a government agency. We rely on you. Call the Red Cross because your help can't wait.
Founded in 1864 by the Religious Society of Friends, Swarthmore today is non-sectarian, yet still reflects many Quaker traditional values. It is a school where students are challenged not just to excel intellectually and academically, but also to equip themselves to help build a better society. Students enjoy not only a superb academic experience, but also one of the most beautiful college campuses in the country.
My neighbor Scott is always so busy. When he's not working, he's a fireman. He does a lot of cool stuff, like putting out fires and saving people's houses. He even rescued my best friend. I call him Smokey. Isn't he a cutie? I'm glad Scott's my neighbor.
We invite you to join our broadcast today by telephone at 800-766-2420 or by email sports@tristatemedia.net.
What a picture-perfect afternoon here in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, and throughout the area. Just a beautiful day for football, and we've got some ECAC Game of the Week action for you here as Franklin and Marshall is visiting the Swarthmore Garnet Tide. We're going to talk a little bit more about the campus, and it's an interesting campus. Bill Marshall will be filling us in on that. But first, let's talk a little bit about some of the other matchups that are coming up throughout the area today. Another big day of college football throughout the region and throughout the nation. We'll start with the other Centennial Conference games this afternoon. Dickinson is at Johns Hopkins this afternoon in Baltimore. Lebanon Valley is visiting Gettysburg this afternoon. Gettysburg struggling this season, as is Lebanon Valley. Just one win between them. Muhlenberg is at Ursinus. The Bears 3-5 on the season. And Western Maryland, the Green Terrors 7-0, a perfect unbeaten record overall and in the league. A non-league matchup with Salisbury State this afternoon. Division I AA, a Big Atlantic 10 matchup. The Maine Black Bears, they upset Villanova a few weeks ago, blew them out. They're visiting Delaware this afternoon. Villanova Wildcats, what has happened to Villanova? 3-3, 3-4 overall, losing record out of the top 25. They're visiting Fordham this afternoon. The Yale Bulldogs and the Pennsylvania Quakers. Boy, Penn had a wild one last week, 58-51 with Brown in overtime, and they're hosting the Bulldogs this afternoon at Franklin Field. Division II PSAC crossover matchup, the Westchester Golden Rams, a heartbreaking loss last week. They visit Clarion from the PSAC West this afternoon. A big one for the Marauders. Millersville, 3-0 in the league, 5-2 overall, visiting surprising Kutztown. Golden Bears are sneaking around looking for that PSAC East Championship. We'll have a score on that one. Mansfield visiting Cheney, a pair of winless teams. Something has to give there. The Cheney Wolves trying to break a 51-game winless streak. Division III, Widener, 6-1 after their loss last week, visiting Kings of Pennsylvania. And our last matchup for today, the Rowan Profs, still alive in the playoff picture. They are visiting the Kane Cougars. The Cougars struggling on the season. So we've got a bunch of scores for you at halftime and postgame today, so we'll keep you up to date on all your favorite local teams, as well as the live action of this one, Franklin and Marshall and Swarthmore. Well, we're going to step aside for a break. When we return, Bill Komisaroff will have a special interview with Swarthmore academic advisor Tom Blackburn, and we'll have that after this break. You're watching the ECAC Game of the Week on the Tri-State Media Network.
Since 1938, the Eastern College Athletic Conference has been a resource for its members by providing over 100 championships along with awards, officiating, and important legislation. With 290 colleges and over 30 playing leagues, the nation's largest athletic conference creates an atmosphere where athletics and academics combine for a tradition of excellence. That's what students are looking for, parents can depend on, and athletes are proud to be a part of. ECAC, the Conference of Champions.
To you, it might seem like I live at the track, but most of the time, I'm on the road just like you.
I always wear my seatbelt, even on short trips, and you should too.
You and I might be in control, but there are plenty of drivers out there who aren't. Your best defense against it is this, your belt.
Because if we don't make it home, what's going to happen to our families that depend on us?
And don't forget, buckling up's the law. Wear a belt so you don't get a ticket.
So buckle up, America.
There's just too much to lose.
Now Suburban Cable connects you to your favorite people, too, with paging. No matter where you are, no matter where they are. The company that connects you to your favorite TV shows now keeps you connected to your friends, family, and business. And with our low prices, you don't have to be rich to be well connected. It's easy. Just call 800-885-BEEP. Welcome to paging from Suburban Cable. It's great to be connected.
Hey, welcome back to Clothier Field. It's Parents' Day here at Swarthmore. Look at that, some kids enjoying some pre-game festivities, a little tailgating going on, always nice to see. And here in the stadium, some of the players are walking into the field now with their parents, as we are just about 10 or 15 minutes away from the kickoff of today's football game. Right now, we'd like to welcome our special guest for the pregame show is Tom Blackburn, who is the academic advisor for this Swarthmore football team. Tom, thanks for joining us. Nice to see you.
Pleasure to see you, Bill.
Now, academic advisor, that sounds like a very important position. What exactly is the job of the academic advisor for a football team here?
Well, one of the nice things about Swarthmore football players is that they need relatively little academic advice. I'm on hand if they want some advice about what courses they might take. If they need to get in contact with one of their professors, I can set it up for them. Or if they just want to talk about their entire future or career at Swarthmore, I'm always glad to see them.
So you're saying you're basically doing this just for the free tickets?
They cost a lot at Swarthmore, I must say. I've been doing it for free for a long time. It's been one of my great pleasures and privileges to be associated with this program.
How long have you been associated with the football team here, and how long have you been at the college?
Well, the answer to both is 37 years. When I was a much younger man, I, in fact, helped coach the line for 4 or 5 years, including 1964 when we had an undefeated season.
Now, this college was founded back in 1864 by the Quakers here in Pennsylvania. Are any of the Quaker traditions still sort of instilled into the college?
Well, we're not officially Quaker and haven't been since the 1920s, but one of the things that Quakers believe in is talking through problems till you find consensus rather than working with confrontation and conflict. And that, I think, still sticks with Swarthmore. Sometimes comically with the football team, one of our old coaches, Lou Everson, used to say, Swarthmore teams don't have huddles, they have seminars. So even consensus seems sometimes to get into the football picture.
They have a meeting instead of a huddle, is that right?
Precisely.
That's great. Now, Swarthmore is always ranked in the top 3 of liberal arts schools in the entire country. What is the criteria for that?
Well, the ranking is based on a number of things. The quality of the faculty, the size of the endowment, participation by alumni, student satisfaction, what they do as graduate students. All of these rank very highly for the college. We have one of the highest per-student endowments in the entire country, which means we can have programs of excellence in many different fields.
Is it harder these days to praise the virtue of a liberal arts education to youngsters?
Interestingly enough, I think they, even though vocationalism and getting jobs are strong concerns of theirs, once they look at what you can do at a liberal institution, arts institution like Swarthmore, they buy into it. Not only does it, in fact, prepare them flexibly for a great number of different careers, but it can give them a lifetime appreciation of learning, which will enrich their lives no matter what they do.
Now, over the years, Swarthmore has had some very distinguished alums pass through these hallowed halls. Who are some of the more notable ones that stick out in your mind?
Well, we've had several Nobel winners in the different fields of the sciences. We have currently, in the fields of sports, probably our most distinguished alum, Neil Austrian, who's one of the business presidents of the National Football League. The list is so long that you're blanking my mind on who they are. Well, Michener, who we're very proud of, he's done very well by the college in the way he supported it. And in fact, in his will, he left us the rights to all of his works, which should bring in a nice income stream to support the college over many years.
We're chatting with Tom Blackburn, who is the academic advisor to the football team, here for a couple of minutes. We want to remind you that this is an interactive broadcast. If you have a question or a comment at any time, feel free to jump on the phone lines. The telephone number is 1-800-766-2420. Tom, the 25-game losing streak, rather, how hard has it been on the fans and the student body and on the players?
Well, the fans are, I must say, outstandingly loyal, especially this current group of parents. They've just been marvelous in the way they supported the team. It's tough on the team. They need to get back in the habit of thinking they can win. They've played hard all this year. I've been proud of the work that Pete Alvanis has been doing with his new staff and with this crew. And I've got my fingers crossed. The last time we appeared on television was against Muhlenberg, and we ended a 34-game losing streak by 1 point. So I'm hoping that maybe your cameras will be a magic charm for us today.
Well, it's got to happen sooner or later. Now, I've got to ask you about a story. I think it dates back to the early 80s. A kid by the name of Kevin Legassi, who played high school football in Delaware at Archmere Academy. His parents or his mother didn't want him to play college football. He came here to Swarthmore and played college football under an assumed name by the name of Rockwell Thisby. What's the story behind that?
Well, it was only for 2 games. He finally convinced his mother to let him go under his own colors. Kevin was a student in a Shakespeare class of mine. One of the things I do in the Shakespeare classes regularly is have the students act out scenes from plays. we were doing the Pyramus and Thisbe subplot from Midsummer Night's Dream, and I cast Kevin as Thisbe, the heroine, which he did in a fine piping little voice. And when it came time to make up a name to go on the program, he took the surname Thisbe, and because he was a big and heavy-hitting fullback, Rockwell as a first name, and that was in the program for the first 2 games of the season until he had to come clean.
All right, that's a great story. Did he get in any trouble?
No. It did make a national cartoon, I believe, but he didn't get in any big trouble.
All right, well, Tom, thank you very much for joining us for a couple of minutes. We appreciate it, and the best of luck to Swarthmore today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Bill.
All right, let's go upstairs to Greg Milligan in the booth.
Thanks, Bill, and thanks, Tom, for visiting with us a little bit. Bill Marshall joins me here in the booth as the Swarthmore side is on the sideline and ready to go, and now the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats making their way out. As there you see the far side of the field, kind of an interesting seating situation for the visitors. It's kind of a lawn setting, and you see everybody new in advance and brought their lawn chairs. There you see a nice look at it from one of our top-level cameras.
Greg, that's one of the fun things about football at this level is people can come in with their dogs, they can come in on a bicycle, they can put down a blanket, they can just enjoy themselves on a grand fall afternoon.
Well, the captains are heading out to midfield for the coin toss. Mike Higgins, one of the captains, he is dressed and can play if necessary, but he's got that knee injury and may not play.
Greg, while we're waiting for the coin toss to be accomplished, one of the unique things about Swarthmore is it's a 330-acre campus right in the middle of urban America, and it is known as a nationally registered arboretum. It's called the Scott Arboretum, and the Swarthmore College employs a group of staff horticulturalists, and they claim that there are more than 5,000 different plants, trees, bushes on the grounds, and the grounds are open to the public daily from sunrise to sunset. So the Swarthmore campus is truly an outstanding facility for higher education, and it's an outstanding facility for people that enjoy plants and flowers and trees.
It is just a beautiful day here on the campus of Swarthmore College. Swarthmore has won the toss, and they will receive. We will be stepping aside for our national anthem. And we'll be back for the kickoff of today's game. The Swarthmore Garnet side and the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats will be back with the kickoff after this timeout.
I love that part of making a snow angel.
Oh yeah, me too, yeah. And you ever just stare at a cumulus cloud until it turns into a monkey?
No.
Oh, you should. It's so fun.
Check it out. Autograph photo of Marshall Cease.
Where'd you get that?
Got a friend at the Weather Channel.
Wow. Hey, trade you my satellite photo of Perky Hugo.
Not a chance. Are you nuts?
Well, our national anthem, and we've got air horns in the crowd today, so we should have some good crowd noise for the day. Swarthmore in their home garnet jerseys, and Franklin and Marshall in all white. And again, Swarthmore will be getting the football first. Swarthmore again trying to end a 25-game losing streak that goes all the way back to November the 11th, 1995. They defeated Washington and Lee by the baseball score of 2-0.
Back to receive for Swarthmore is Mason Tutel, who set a NCAA record last year for a number of kickoff returns in one game, along with Donovan Goodley and number 1 Brian Bell. So they've got 3 very, very fine kick returners ready to receive the kick from number 18, which is Stephen Linebaugh, a freshman from York, Pennsylvania.
3 offensive starters, the pair of wide receivers and a running back, are back deep for Swarthmore. We're about set to go here.
As we mentioned in the pregame, Greg, this could be an interesting game because both teams have had a tough time running the ball, and both teams have enjoyed some success throwing the ball. The Swarthmore quarterback, who had been injured, is back, ready to go. And the F&M also has a situation where their starting quarterback, Mike Higgins, is out, and they're going to Jamie Ottaviano and Jim Meehan as their quarterbacks today.
So we are ready to go, as they were having a problem with the chains on the far side of the field, and now we're set. Linebaugh will tee it up for the Diplomats, and here we go from Swarthmore. It's high and short, fielded by Tutel at the 19-yard line. Picks up a couple of blocks and gets it out to the 32-yard line, where it will be first down and 10 for Swarthmore.
The tackle was made by number 14, Kirk Silas, a freshman. Darrell Black is the lone setback for Swarthmore.
First down and 10 for Swarthmore. The quarterback, J.P. Harris. And on first down, Harris taken down at the line of scrimmage, so it will be second down. Let's take a look at the backs and receivers for Swarthmore. J.P. Harris gets the start over Scott Murray. The running backs, Donovan Goodley and Joe Alefi. The tight end is Charlie Ellis. And the wide receivers, Tutel and Bell. The offensive line, Pagliel, Sejdera, Albers, Fitty, and Neeland for Swarthmore. Second down and 10 as Harris gets no gain. Take a look at the F&M defense coming up after this play. That's Goodley, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. It will be third down and 10. The F&M defense of 44 alignment. The defensive ends, John Green and Mike Corte, Charles Lombardo and Andrew Zampieri on the inside. Linebacking group, Wyckoff, Gillespie, Shambaugh, and Busby. Shambaugh, the